Hello again, everybody. So just before lunch, we have a fireside chat with James. James Ashton from Vegas City, who was on the panel first thing this morning. And James actually, and what he's doing with Vegas City in Decentraland, I think is probably the most hands-on in terms of kind of metaverse use cases and real casinos operating in the metaverse versus anyone else I know of or any other metaverse out there. So we're really lucky to have that kind of hands-on depth of experience because I think the gambling industry is beginning to wake up to the opportunity within Web3 and how you take an internet-based product and socialize it and bring it to life in a 3D environment. So James, quick kind of first question. Do you want to just give us a quick overview of Vegas City and what specifically, I guess, within gambling it has to offer?
Okay, so just a sort of 1 minute nutshell of what Vegas City is for people who didn't hear the previous panel. So it's a district within the metaverse of Decentraland. So it's probably, you could say, it's the largest kind of commercial sort of zone. It's divided into 4 areas: casino, sport, entertainment, and experience, with experience being the bucket that catches everything that's not in the other 3. And Decentraland is a metaverse where it's fully on-chain. So the actual digital land exists as an NFT. So if you imagine that Vegas City is the holder of a lot of digital land NFTs, which form the district, and then within that we're both a landlord. So there's independent casinos running and other ventures running independently of us, but they're within the district. And then we actually create a lot of activations as well. So we work for different brands. We make casino buildings. We build our games and we make our mini games. And so it officially launched February 2020, which is, even though we were created in September 2017, we've been in the space quite a long time compared to a lot of operators. And since 2020, it's been a progression of different experiences. And in the gaming space, there was the early Wild West days of Decentraland, and there was an operator doing very early real money Web3 casinos. They soon stopped it, and then since then there's been a progression of play money casino games and also play to earn casino games.
Okay, so, and why Decentraland in particular as a metaverse? What are the attributes of Decentraland that particularly suited?
Yeah, so it's a tapestry of NFTs. So the land is an NFT. The avatar names are NFTs. The things the avatars wear are NFTs. Even now, there's a very new type of NFT that was released like last week, which is the movements. So people can actually trade gestures, if you like, and then you can incorporate those gestures into experiences. So, they act as both the ticket to being able to do something, like if you can enter this VIP zone if you have the correct shirt, or it could provide utility. Using a smarter contract, you can look at who's doing what, and then you could use that for incentivization. So, for example, rewarding with whether it be actual other NFT goods or whether it be the programming of games and delivering of bonuses and that type of thing.
So from an operator point of view, they could own the land that they're on?
Yeah, so typically people, the land's quite expensive, so also it's not exactly easy to manage to begin with. There's a learning curve. So often, a lot of operators, they choose to lease the land and have a kind of managed service, which is one of the things that we and a lot of other operators in Decentraland do. But for some, that sovereignty over their own investment is possible because they can own the land, and indeed, the biggest owner of casinos in Vegas City. They own their own land, and we're in partnership with them. But in essence, they call the shots on their turf.
And just, I don't know how many people have been in Decentraland. Let me see. Okay, perfect. Anyone been into a casino in Decentraland? No. Do you want to bring it to life, kind of what this looks like, and how it differs from a in real life casino?
Yeah, well, it has a lot of analogies in that the buildings are typically modelled after real casinos, grandiose, very impressive, big open areas. And you'd walk in and you'll see a lot of avatars running around and milling about, and you'll see a lot stood at tables. If you look at any moment in time, the most popular application in Decentraland is something called ice poker, and there's always maybe between 600 and 1,000 concurrent users of ice poker, which doesn't sound huge, but in terms of metaverse, it's big. There's nowhere else where that many people are gambling at a point in time. It is different to how things work in the real world, in that ice poker is more of a member, a poker club. You have to own a specific NFT to play, and then it's the liquidity and almost like the prize pool for the poker is generated by the sales of the membership garments, and people also delegate them to other people, and they actually earn a profit from. So there's people who have guilds of poker players, and they're earning a 10% cut of the winnings of the people who play.
So it's a bit like walking into a poker hall.
Yeah.
But actually, what they're playing is a different variant of poker, right? And it's a slightly different game because it's play to earn.
Yes. There's an element of the grind about it, in that you don't necessarily need to be the best poker player in the world to get a benefit from it. It is. There are other, more classic forms of poker in development.
Okay.
And those will be coming, very soon.
Real money, or
to begin with, the social form, which will have, for example, prize poker. And that will probably evolve into kind of pay-to-enter competitions, which have valuable prizes, and then real money will come, once we get to a certain milestone in the development. But there's a number of people doing the development, and the specific one we're working with most intensively have an MGA license, so they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And on the Vegas City side, we are not a gambling operator. We're not licensed. We're the caretaker, the janitor, if you like, fixing things.
And as if a licensed operator came to you, how could they remain compliant with the law? And have you got licensed operators? Yeah.
So I think I suppose the most interesting one from my perspective is a European-based licensed bricks and mortar casino, and what they're doing is they're treating the metaverse as a front end on their existing operation. So they're not attempting to have a Web3 driven gambling setup. They're more attempting to allow players to jump into a 3D experience and access their existing account balance and play with that. And because it's a web-oriented metaverse, all of the sorts of checks and balances that you would be able to do in a conventional Web 2 platform apply. So, for example, users undergo an IP geolocation check, and then the business rules that follow that can be adhered to. So, at a basic level, on the front end, you can just give people a different experience if they're not in a licensed territory. And then that can be enforced on the back end using just conventional IP, checks. Because if you connect a casino game in the metaverse to an existing back end, that existing back end will see the user just like on any other web system. So they will log their IP address, etc. We could even put a login prompt in the metaverse, but that's not normally how you do it. Normally, you would just open a new browser tab, and then they would, go onto the existing site, log in, and then that session can be used to bind the user's metaverse experience to their actual, account at the licensed operator.
So the kind of anonymity that is present in a lot of Web3 need not be the case.
Exactly. It's an open platform. Just speaking purely about Decentraland, what it gives you is a software development kit, which enables you to pretty much implement anything you can imagine.
Yep.
And that software development kit allows developers to do anything, connect to any service using web standard protocols.
Interesting. And so the vision is that Vegas City is recreating Vegas the Strip. Is that the kind of end goal? And you're looking at existing operators to...
Yes, although I'd almost say let's call it recreating the city rather than the Strip, because it may be that you have different themed areas. There's a sports area, so it's actually we're working with people like the Australian Open tennis and recently La Liga. There's no reason why, if you were doing a sports-oriented casino, you might be immersed in a more sports-focused environment rather than a strip specifically.
Right.
The casino quarter is attempting to recreate the Strip in that it's anything goes casinos, and there's some really fun variants. There's one of my favorites is called the Aquarium, and the Aquarium is a sort of underwater-inspired environment. It's kind of procedurally generated fish swimming in tanks, and basically, it's quite a novelty piece.
I guess, again, I work with a number of clients, and the first thing they want to do is take their in real life product or property and recreate it in the metaverse. But I suspect, because we're talking about a zero gravity environment, imaginations will start to go crazy, right? And why, if you've got a themed casino, why not really make it a themed casino, right?
Well, exactly.
There's no limitation.
Why not have the Wild West casino where the
cowboys are riding through?
Where you enter and you're transformed into a cowboy or an Indian.
And talking of that, are there kind of use cases which, maybe for operators who are, even though it sounds like they can do this in a compliant way, might want to take a slightly softer step initially? So I'm kind of thinking, sports books maybe coming in and bringing data to life.
Yeah, exactly. Data visualization is one of the real strengths of the metaverse environment, because it gives programmers the same kind of tools that you use in game development. But because you can tap into any web service, you can read any data feed, you can interpret that with a custom backend, and then you can basically visualize that however you want. So if you wanted to have a view on a soccer field that shows a heat map of a particular player's activity, you could present that in a really cool and compelling way, like over time, for example.
And you could interact with that, and
it
exactly. Could be immersive. And then I guess at the end of that, you could have odds.
Yes, exactly.
The odds of this happening again in Saturday's matches.
And that could link back to a page existing sportsbook, because the metaverse may not be the best environment today to actually, get into the nuts and bolts of placing a bet, which might be traditionally made on quite a complex entry form.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, for some simple wagers, who's going to win this match? It's a no-brainer. You could do all of the interaction in there.
In situ.
Yeah, in situ, exactly.
Wow. Okay. And other potential use cases on the kind of softer side, if there's streaming rights, if a sportsbook's got streaming rights, they could be streaming, have watch parties, for instance. So
we did the Melbourne Cup last year. So we actually did get the streaming rights to show the Melbourne Cup, and we had to treat it just like a TV network. So we could only show it. So we had to show one stream to Australian users and another stream to the rest of the world. And it's basically the race was on screens all over the headquarters of an NFT company called Zrun, their virtual headquarters. and then we implemented a game. So it was basically people watching the Melbourne Cup race while running around in the venue chasing wild horses and rounding them up. And then the people who did round up the wild horses also got a prize, which was an NFT.
Amazing. So, and ZRun, for those of you who don't know, is an NFT-based game where you can own and breed horses, and then you can race them, and you can win money. So,
and the races are provably fair, which is quite interesting because nobody could stop anybody else from making a book on ZRun races, because they are not a gaming operator; they're a game developer. So I do think things like ZRun will set up shop in the metaverse, visualize their event, and then an ecosystem can build around them.
I'm surprised they're not already in there.
No, ZRun are.
Oh, they are. Okay,
yeah, the races are not yet. We're talking
Okay.
to them about that. They've got their headquarters. We know how it's going to work.
Yep.
It's in progress, but they're also in a huge expansion, period. So they're one of those ones where they're
Head down.
Yeah, the size of their team is growing very fast. So
Right.
they're really sort of formulating who's who in their metaverse division.
Cool. One final question. I just wanted to. I know operators are beginning to look at kind of NFTs and the use of NFTs. I think predominantly at the moment around kind of marketing, so using them as a loyalty tool or using them for VIPs. How could they start thinking about the integration of those NFTs with customers and the metaverse?
Well, you can program in, and address an NFT however you want to do it. So you could be doing things like having, gated areas and special content, and
so you could have a VIP lounge,
VIP area.
only accessible
exactly.
to VIPs because they've got the.
Yeah, exactly. So if you were producing a sports, a system, for example, you could have NFTs identify which team you support, and then you could customize the environment based on the team you're holding, for example. Because it is literally just some information that you can access.
Yeah.
So, I mean, from a metaverse perspective, you could view an NFT as basically just a store of data that somebody owns, and how you use that, you could really use it in any way you want to.
So if it's in your wallet, when you enter, let's say, Casino X's environment, it can recognize you as a VIP.
Yeah.
And it can treat you as a VIP, and it can give you access to different areas, and it could drop you wearables, it could airdrop you tokens or...
Yep, exactly. And in the case of Decentraland, even the land is an NFT. So you could... you could put a crown on top of the landowner when they automatically when they walk on their land.
Here comes the boss. Yeah, super interesting. I mean, it feels to me, we're going to have to wrap up, but it feels to me like there's just, I think the single biggest innovation for the industry has clearly been the internet, since the turn of the century. And whereas that has been, an amazing catalyst, I guess what it's also done is made the gambling experience kind of antisocial, right? You're on your screen, you're at home, but it has many benefits. And then the metaverse then, builds on those benefits, but actually brings that socialization, or has the potential to bring that socialization back, right? Which to me seems like a massive opportunity.
Well, if you want to see adults acting like your kids act in Roblox, walk into a nice poker casino, and you'll see, because it feels like one long party.
Cool. So yeah, I'd recommend if anyone hasn't been, do check it out. It's obviously open to anybody. But thank you very much, James. Appreciate that.
Thank you.